Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto, and this is a 1995 Toyota Celsior. This one here is the second generation, also kind of known as the LS400, but here in Japan they call it the Celsior. And oddly, this is a Lexus in kind of the rest of the world. Here in Japan this is a Toyota, but they got a better version of it here in Japan than they did in the rest of the world, as was often the case in the 80s, and hence why a lot of people like to import cars from Japan. Now this one was bought from auction for export to the USA under the 25-year rule, but what's special about this is it's the very first month of production for the UCF21, the second generation, and that means that this is going to be one of the first ones in the US. Okay, hood dampers don't work, that's why the hood was closed, but it's a 4-cam 1UZ engine, generally known as being one of the more reliable engines of basically any kind, but especially a twin-cam V8. Coolant and oil both look to be okay, really no issues at all, and this car has authentic 40,000 kilometers. That's crazy for a vehicle that's now 25 years old. In fact, it's still on the original tires on just about all four corners. This one here was just replaced with a brand new tire in 2018 because I guess that it popped. But if you look here, the tire stamp says 1994 on those three corners, and then 2018 late model tire there. And so this is going to be a post-purchase inspection video, and I guess it's going to be pretty interesting because the first generation Celsiors were really popular to import to the States. I suspect that these will be popular as well. They look very similar to the first gen, but they have quite well, different lines everywhere. All the panels are different. Like if you look here, you get a squared off section here and a harder line down here, and the same thing goes on the back. Headlights are sloped back a little bit more. Grille is different. Overall body dimensions are about the same. And then this one being a 21, a UCF21, has air suspension. You might be looking at it thinking, wow, that suspension looks low and cool. That's actually the stock suspension. And then this one has an aftermarket suspension controller, so you can set the suspension at different heights. Now the programming for the controller has set this to the minimum height, and then I press the buttons in order to have it at the minimum height to show you in this video. You can have it higher than that if you want. You can actually go lower than this too if you program the suspension controller to allow for it. I've seen a lot of these with suspension controllers that have a very low height on them. And so for now, I'm just going to boost the suspension back up. And it takes a few seconds for that to happen, but I want to show you how the suspension controller works because it's really easy. And not all of them are easy. Usually they have these things like programmable settings, and they're a bit complicated and you can't read the manual. This one here is really simple. This is how high I want it. This is how I like, this is the back, this is the front, and you just set your height there on a scale using these buttons or these buttons, and this will show you the current height, and it will go up to here. So pretty simple, very easy to use. We'll come back to the interior in a sec. I'm going to go over the auction inspection sheet. 40,000 kilometers and probably garage kept because the paint is exquisite. There's basically no damage on the car except for a couple of small places. I'll go over the auction inspection sheet here. So 1995 Toyota Celsior, 4,000 cc V8 engine, automatic transmission with AC, power steering, power windows, airbag, and alloy wheels. Auction grade 4 with an interior B. There's no sales points or notes from the seller. Underside has been painted, various scratches and dents on the car. We have two small dents on it and then scuffs on the rear bumper. Now the small dents, let's see if we can find one. There's one on either side. Where did it go? Well, here's a good view of the side panel where you can see how clean and nice that is. There's the small dent right there. So there's one of these on each side. And that's unbelievable for how old the vehicle is. We'll do a quick once around of it so you can see it from all the different angles. And you can see already that the suspension is raised up higher than it was at the beginning of the video. So when the Celsior came out, or the Lexus LS400, it was the flagship model for the Lexus brand, and so they are very much over-engineered vehicles. This second generation version of it is very similar to the first because Lexus was so far ahead of everybody else when it came out. They really didn't need to improve too much. The interior looks a little bit more modern. The vehicle still has that really nice feel to it, excellent build quality. And then I guess styling of this one is a little bit more appealing than the first generation, but styling is objective, so you can pick if you like the styling better or not. front bumper doesn't really have damage to it, and so that's good. I'll show you a quick look at the rear bumper scuffs. You can see the roof is good, the trunk is good, the interior has cigarettes in the ashtray, which is kind of lame, but it doesn't smell like cigarettes inside the vehicle, so that's good. Sonar, that's cracked. So, I don't know, the bumper looks to be pretty good to me. I love how much space that you have in these, and I love that it's like a 3-box sedan. It's hood, car, trunk, and you just don't see that too much anymore. It's really a shame. We're in the interior here. As far as I can tell, everything works fine. This is kind of neat. Look, seatbelt up and down button. Usually this is done mechanically, but see, down, up. Kind of weird. The gauges, I think, don't look as cool as the earlier model ones, but the earlier model ones are probably very expensive to build compared to these ones. Okay, dual zone climate control. And then this one doesn't have a touch screen, which is good. You don't really want the one with the touch screen, because if you want to upgrade to like better electronics or something, it helps to have something that you can take out without losing functionality of the AC or something like that. Okay, so seats are nice, interior's nice, power seats all work. That's all good. Power tilt and telescoping, and a little button here that shakes water off of your door mirrors. That's cool. I'll show you the trunk because it's nice and huge. Celsior. But the Japanese is Celsior, so the R is silent if you want to speak like a Japanese person. This plate cover pieces. There's a black spot on the seats. Oh my gosh, the car is terrible now. And the half seat covers, very Japanese, very cool. Let's see, this one has zippers. Some of them, they have different styles for how to get out your cushion. This one is a zipper style, which is kind of cool. You get your own little lights up at the top there for each side, and AC vent as well. So great. I love these. Everybody needs to love these. Someone needs to vacuum out the trunk. But then it has, looks like a mini disc. Yeah, which was all the rage in Japan for a short amount of time. Mini disc player. And Strata Car Navi System by Panasonic. And what is this? Shinyo wo uru mise since 1931. Have no idea. And the Japanese says Shiraki. Huh. Here in particular, you can see the body line is sharper there than the previous ones. It's good. And these look so nice on some big wheels. Well, that's going to be it for this walk around. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, you know what to do. You can check out our website too. There's a link to that in the description. So thank you everyone for having the time to make it all the way to the end here. And I'll leave off with the giant dead spider. Woo! That I accidentally killed.